Ever get that, like, shivery feeling? One where you think, what if? And I mean, what if some of those government conspiracy theories are actually, not so much theories?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, we're just scratching the surface?
Yeah.
We're talking about pyrokinesis and government conspiracies today, diving deep into Stephen King's Firestarter.
Okay.
And we've got excerpts from the book itself, a couple of intriguing book reviews to add some extra layers.
Right.
Oh, and a sprinkle of Wikipedia for, that good old-fashioned context.
Yeah.
Really want to dig into what makes this story tick, What makes it stick with you?
Right.
And maybe, just maybe, we'll uncover a thing or two about power, control, maybe even a dash of good old-fashioned paranoia.
Well, one of the things that Firestarter really nails is that fear, that very primal fear of what the government might be up to behind closed doors. I mean, we all know about MKUltra, right?
Right.
That real CIA program messing around with mind control and LSD back in the 60s and 70s. Talk about spooky action at a distance.
Mm-hmm.
But King, he takes that real-world anxiety and just cranks the dial to 11 with the shop.
Oh, yeah.
This shadowy organization with their fingers and everything. I don't seem too bothered about human life either.
No, not at all. And that's where we meet Andy and Charlie McGee, a father-daughter duo on the run from, you guessed it, the shop. And Charlie, well, she's no ordinary kid. This girl can literally think and boom fire.
Yeah, talk about a secret to keep under wraps, huh?
No kidding. But it gets even wilder because where do you think Charlie got these fiery abilities?
I'm assuming it has something to do with this shop we're talking about.
Bingo! Straight from the shop themselves. They were messing around with this drug, Lot 6, hoping to, well, let's just say they were trying to weaponize the human mind.
Ambitious, to say the least.
That's an understatement. And here's the kicker. They weren't even trying to create pyrokinetics. Charlie, she was a side effect. A very powerful, very unexpected side effect. Makes you wonder what else is lurking out there, right? What other possibilities are we just not seeing?
It's like that saying, we don't know what we don't know.
Exactly. And speaking of things we don't know, did you notice how King uses that name, the shop?
It's kind of an odd choice, isn't it?
It's like so ordinary, so everyday.
Yeah, like a bunch of guys hanging out fixing cars, not scientists playing God.
Right. It's that deliberate ordinariness that makes it so creepy, Like they could be anywhere, hiding in plain sight.
Oh, absolutely. It's way more unsettling than calling it something overtly menacing like Project Firestorm.
Right.
Because it can be anywhere, blended right into the background noise of our lives. You'd never suspect a thing.
And the shop? Well, they're not exactly known for their, let's say, gentle persuasion techniques.
Yeah.
They're like dogs with a bone when it comes to hunting down the McGees.
Yeah, they definitely don't believe in leaving loose ends, do they?
Not a single one. And the lengths they go to, it's like, wow, would anyone really do that? It makes you wonder about the lines people are willing to cross,
It's a slippery slope from we're the good guys to whatever it takes.
Exactly. And nowhere is that more apparent than in what happens to Charlie's mom, Vicky.
Oh, man, that part gets me every time. Just brutal.
It's like King wants to punch you right in the gut and say, this is what we're dealing with here.
And it's not just about being shocking or violent for the sake of it.
No, it's calculated. It's the shop saying, we call the shots, and no one stands in our way.
It's that kind of cold, calculated ruthlessness that makes government conspiracies so terrifying.
Yeah.
The idea that some people, somewhere, think they're above the rules, that the ends justify any means. It's a tough pill to swallow.
No kidding. And it sets the stage for this incredibly intense moment when Charlie, she's just a kid, right? But she's cornered, terrified, and boom, she just lets loose with everything she's got.
The first taste of real power. Talk about a baptism by fire.
It's pure chaos. And what's crazy is she kind of likes it.
Yeah, there's this disturbing sense of exhilaration that King captures so well. It's like deep down, we might all have that little voice whispering, wouldn't it be awesome to just burn it all down? But then you layer on the actual ability to do it, and suddenly things get very real, very fast.
It's like that saying, with great power
Comes a whole lot of responsibility that you might not be ready for.
Exactly. And this is where the book really gets into the psychological aspect of power, don't you think? It's not just about pyrokinesis, it's about self-control.
Right. And how do you even begin to teach a child that? It's like that review we were talking about, the one by what Jess reads.
Yeah, where they compare it to toilet training. At first it was like, where's this going? But it makes a weird kind of sense, Right, it's those first experiences with controlling your impulses, your most basic urges. And most of us, thankfully, our accidents involve, well, you know.
Right. Not exactly setting the neighborhood on fire.
Exactly. But Charlie, she's working on a whole other level. It's like King is saying, what happens when those basic controls break down, but the stakes are life and death?
It's a terrifying thought experiment.
It really is. And despite all that, despite the power she unleashes, later on, when she's captured by the shop, she makes this incredibly powerful choice.
Oh, yeah. She goes full-on resistance.
Refuses to use her power.
Knowing what they're capable of, what she's capable of, and she just shuts it down.
Which is crazy, right? I mean, this is a kid who can literally incinerate people with her mind. It's a testament to King's writing that he can make you empathize with someone so powerful, so potentially dangerous.
It's that inner conflict, that struggle for control, that makes Charlie such a fascinating character. She's both a weapon and a victim. And the shop, they completely underestimate that. They see her as a tool to be exploited, not a human being.
And that's where Rainbird comes in.
Oh, yeah, Rainbird.
Yeah.
It's a whole other level of messed up, even for the shop.
This is their top assassin, someone who actually enjoys what he does.
And he's obsessed with Charlie, but not in a, let's be friends kind of way.
No, more like he wants her power for himself.
Like he can absorb it, become this, I don't know, pyrokinetic god or something.
It's seriously creepy the way King writes about it. Like you can feel this darkness radiating off the page.
And the way he manipulates her, pretending to be her friend, preying on this lonely, scared kid.
It's rough. Even the fantasy book review, they're usually pretty good about, suspending disbelief. But even they were like, whoa, this is dark.
And it makes you think, right?
Yeah.
About how much control we really have over our own lives, our own choices. Especially when someone's pulling strings like that, someone who knows exactly which buttons to push.
And it all leads to this, explosive climax where Rainbird, he kills Charlie's dad right in front of her.
Cold-blooded.
Calculating. It's the ultimate betrayal designed to break her, to make her lose control.
And it works. But not the way he planned.
No, it backfires spectacularly.
Because Charlie, she just erupts. Full-on pyrokinetic inferno. The shop, Rainbird, it's like King hit the reset button on the whole world.
It's kind of beautiful in a way. Terrifying, but beautiful. Like this force of nature, this primal energy just saying, nope, you're not in control anymore.
And you're left with this chilling image of Charlie, covered in soot and ash, walking into the offices of Rolling Stone magazine.
Because who else would believe her?
Exactly. Sometimes the craziest stories are the ones that need to be told the most.
So there you have it, Firestarter. A story that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about government conspiracies, psychic powers, and maybe even human nature itself.
And whether or not we're all just one bad day away from letting our own inner fire run wild.
Ooh, good one. And on that note, we'll leave you with those burning questions. Until next time, keep diving deep.